Hey guys, and welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 19 with the San Francisco Giants. We are here at the beginning of the offseason. We finished up the season about as expected. We were staying afloat more so than I thought we would, but we finished out at 78 and 84. We did make one more trade, although it did not feature Buster Posey. We got Justin Williams and Willie Adames and Nelson Cruz. Nelson Cruz was in there to make the salaries work. He only has a 1-year deal, so we were able to pretty easily just keep his $14 million and for one season, and that allowed us to keep less of Jeff Samardzij's deal. We are on the books for 40% of this, which isn't ideal, but also I would rather be on the books for 40% of it than 100% of it. I don't think Jeff Samardzij will be good for very long. We gave up a lot of these, half-star guys that easily can turn into something, but it was part of salary dump for Samardzij, and we also lost Aaron Hicks. We kept all of Aaron Hicks' contract, but it's only 1 year, so we don't have to worry about that too much. But we also got Willie Adames, Adames, I always say Adames. We got Willie Adames, who is a really good young player. He has proved he can play in the MLB a little bit, but he's been really good in AAA across the past 2 seasons. Having him as a middle infielder is definitely a good thing. Plus Justin Williams, guy who we are on right now. You can see his ratings here. He projects as a pretty good player. It's usually, if you can, he's not going to walk a ton, but he's also not going to strike out a whole lot. So he's a good player to have. Nothing really major happened. All the players I got in trades, only one of them played on our major league team by the end of the year, and that was Shane Bieber, and he was okay. Definitely did not get help by our defense, but I don't think anyone else came up, so there's really no more news. Madison Bumgarner with his $12 million option, obviously going to execute that. That is a easy decision. And Mark Melanson will stay as expected. We did stay close to an even record, as I thought we would. Everything out there. New budget. I think that's more. Could be wrong. Bench coach is leaving. Hensley Mullins. It's fine by me. Arbitration period. Okay, so for now we are going to first of all sign some staff members because I'm not going to be a big fan of Powell or Kurt Young when it comes down to it, and they're only on the books for one more season, so we're not going to be paying them too much more than we have to, but I really do want to see what our options are, because, if the options aren't there, then I'm not worried about it, but yeah, okay. So, no real good hitting coaches available, definitely none that are worth paying 2 for, and same with pitching coaches. I think all the coaches in this game have a little bit of longer contracts, so most of them aren't available early on. So that's fine. I think we're just gonna live with these guys, and we're gonna get a new bench coach. I don't know how much of a difference these make, but I usually like to get a sabermetrics guy above all else. Even some of these unproven guys, if they're sabermetric, then I usually like to give them a shot because I think a young sabermetric guy would be the ideal situation. I don't like Tyler Spencer too much. Apparently he has Bill James's name tattooed on his chest. But yeah, like I said, I don't really know how much of a difference this makes, but regardless, I like to try my best to, add to it. Now, with that out of the way, we can go to our salary arbitration. Sam Dyson, I definitely don't want to give Sam Dyson $5 million, so let's see if maybe we can make up a trade for Sam Dyson. If not, then Sam Dyson will be non-tendered and will become a free agent. And there's no trade offers, so Sam Dyson will get non-tendered. Corey Guerin definitely coming back on the team after the year he had last year. The defense was absolutely no help to him, and he had a absolutely phenomenal season, pitching to a 3.74 BABIP, had a 3.53 ERA. So Corey Guerin, a guy that I think we're definitely going to keep around as long as possible. Josh Osich, I don't know. I mean, yeah, he can stay for that. Jordan Schaefer, brought him up late in the year. I have no need to keep him around. I'd rather have the $700,000. Strickland, Hector Sanchez. I think we're probably going to lose Nick Hundley. I don't think he's going to want to come back here. So, I mean, Sanchez is probably not a terrible idea, but I think we can pick someone up. Joe Panic, going to keep him around. Kelby Thompson, Rutledge, and I don't know how to say his name. Hernandez. Yep, gonna let all these guys walk. I'm not too worried about losing any of them. Trevor Cahill, probably the best one. Did actually finish out the year pretty well. Our defense was just really bad last year, so I think a lot of these ERAs are inflated. Wonder what would an extension. He doesn't even want an extension from the Giants, which is fair, because we traded away like half the team last year. Nelson Cruz also will be gone. He actually played really well for us in the middle of the year. I should have tried to trade him in August, but I didn't, and now he's gone. And I don't really think I can keep him around on the team because he doesn't really have a position. He's definitely more of a DH, and he's also asking for way more than he's worth. So we're going to move on from that, and I will check back in when these awards. Alright, so here we are at the Gold Glove winners. Tyler Spencer agreed to be my bench coach. Pitching, AL, nothing shocking here. NL, yep, that's about right. Adam Duvall winning the Gold Glove in left field. It's pretty cool. Reliever of the year, Blake Trenian, interesting. Definitely can make a case for that in real life, although Edwin Diaz will probably win that. Ken Giles, not even on the Astros in real life anymore. Tragic. Brad Hand wins. Oh yeah, in the league, not related to me. The San Diego Padres made the World Series and lost to the New York Yankees in 6 games. But I kind of saw them make their way through, and all of a sudden they were just in the World Series, which I thought was pretty funny. The AL is shaping out pretty much how it is in real life. The NL is, the Mets obviously surpassed what they're doing in real life by a wide margin, and the Padres definitely surpassed what they've been doing. I don't really know how the Padres were so good. They don't actually have that many good. They don't have too many good players or anything. They just good collection of guys, I guess. Sanchez, Alonso, Bregman. Hey, Manny Machado. Got a sneaky suspicion that Manny Machado might be a Giant by the end of this video. Pretty sure that's it. I should probably check our league as well. Did they sign him to an extension? No. He is probably going to be a free agent. NL. Doesn't look as though we have any. No, I think the only one would be Posey, but he is not. Ohtani for the AL. Don't think we had any rookies yet. John Butler. And yeah, Andy Green wins Manager of the Year, which is fair because he brought the Padres to the World Series. So have at it, Andy. Trade proposal. I usually don't even pay attention to trade proposals because they're like this, like Lesme Diaz for Justin Williams and Christian Bergman. There's absolutely no reason I would do that. James Paxton wins the AL Cy Young, as he very well could have been in line to do in real life. Severino also was in line at a point. Chris Sale. Yeah, I mean, a lot of AL Cy Young candidates that have fallen off and getting injured. Chris Sale's actually on my fantasy team, so I would appreciate if he could make it back into the mold. There's Max Scherzer winning his third Cy Young, I believe. Giancarlo Stanton with the AL MVP, and Cody Bellinger winning NL MVP, right behind Corey Seager. I'm not excited to deal with the Dodgers in our division for the years to come. Ooh, we can get Edwin Encarnacion. His $17 million over 3 years. Alright, and so now we're at salary arbitration hearings, where John Barr got Juan Soto, an outfielder. That's funny. Oh, actually has pretty cool potential ratings. Will never hit a home run in his career, but very well might be a major league player at some point. Alright, so the absurd 2018 free agency class is now underway. Okay, so we have $92 million available, and just about every single player you could want. So, what direction do we go here is the question. I think if we go into this next season not with a pretty dominant team, then I would be surprised. We pretty much need every position except catcher. Buster Posey is pretty much stuck in at catcher. Pitching wise, I am gonna need more pitching. This entire season, we were really working on fixing up the minor league system, and we did that. I think our farm system is really good now, and now we're in a position where I think we can start beefing up the major league roster with pickups like, Manny Machado or Bryce Harper or Clayton Kershaw, whoever I decide. And so we could go a bunch of directions with this. We can't just get completely blinded by Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, although I very well might get blinded by Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. We can't go out of our way just to get them because we have a lot of holes on this roster. And although Bryce Harper and Manny Machado would get me a lot of wins, it's not going to help our reliever situation, which we might pick up Zach Britton for, because Zach Britton in this game seems to be the most consistent reliever every single save. Don't know why they made him so overpowered, but when it comes to the lineup, I am confident with Steven Duggar starting, or at least being a backup outfielder. I'm comfortable with Joe Panik starting, obviously. Comfortable with Posey starting. Ryder Jones, I would rather he doesn't start, but I'm content with him starting if that's how it shakes out. And then relievers, I don't like to spend money on relievers. I like to usually stay cheap when it comes to relievers because I think you can find them pretty easily. But that being said, when you're a team with this high of a budget, you can maybe afford to go out and get a Zach Britton or an Andrew Miller. But regardless, I think we are going to go after Bryce. Bryce Harper is pretty dominant. There's really no worry. If you pick up Bryce Harper, he's going to be really, really, really good. the question would be him or Manny Machado, but I think we can just do both. I don't think we need to decide. 6 years will take him to 32. At that point, he's going to want a longer term extension. Yeah, I think it's probably a good deal. We'll do that. We're definitely not. This draft is going to be. We are not going to be present in this draft, this upcoming draft, because we are going to lose probably our first 2 or 3 picks. Bryce Harper is the other one. That's brutal. I don't know why that's the case. I've never seen that happen before. So I guess we have to move on from that because Bryce Harper is just apparently not interested in joining the San Francisco Giants. Zachariah Gilmore. Who is this? This is a fake player, but a fake player apparently can throw 97 to 99 miles an hour on the reg. Okay. Back here, I had to cut out for a second because my laptop was going to die, but it is all charged up now. Now, looking through this, knowing that we can't get Harper, obviously we still have a lot of money that we can spend. Don't need a catcher. We're getting Manny. Kind of comfortable at third baseman. Donaldson's just getting up there in age, and you know his ratings are already going down. I think Kershaw might make some sense here. I mean, obviously one of the most dominant pitchers in this game and in real life. The question is, can he stay healthy? He's probably going to look for a long-term deal that maybe we don't want to give him, but even if he lives out half of that, it could be worth it. The problem is I have definitely seen in these saves Kershaw depletes fast, which is definitely something to worry about. Let's see. So past him, we can go position by position here. So go back to the team real quick. Definitely do need starting pitching. That's not a debate. Lineup wise, we could benefit from some bats for sure. With Machado filling the shortstop and maybe the third base. I don't know what we're going to do with Ryder Jones yet. We have holes at first, corner outfielders. Yeah. And I know we have Willie Adames, and Adames should be on the major league team next year, at least at some point, but it'll probably come at second base. Or we don't start Ryder Jones. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but Machado will be in the game, obviously. Question is, and first base is another position that I'm confident I can figure out. If I don't find anyone that I like down here, but I'm thinking I'm going to. So I think I might just pull the trigger with Clayton Kershaw. That seems like a thing to do. He actually doesn't want that long of a deal. I thought that was going to be more towards 10. I wonder if I could get it down to about 5. Give him the player opt-out after year 3. And yeah, essentially I'll do 3 player options. So he can completely influence this deal if he wants. But we know we will have him for 3 years. Actually, to make it more realistic, because you can do that, which is kind of cheesy, but you can put the player opt-out on the same year as the player option, and they like the contract more, even though it's literally the same thing. So yeah, I like that. He pretty much controls the contract, so we might be able to get him a little cheaper now. Maybe at like 20 million. And maybe I think 20 million is fine. Doesn't quite want that. Okay, so we have the contract offer for Kershaw at. Oops, I don't mean to go to Houston's team there. Honestly, don't even know how I did that, but We have a contract out about 20, I believe it was 24 million per year, 6 years, 141. Machado's is 6 years, 179. I don't know if that's going to work out, but I figure it's, you know, at the worst, I think we just get Clayton Kershaw. He's going to be a good player. Zachariah Gillhorn. These creative players are very volatile. There will be years where they will be the best player in the league, and there's also years where they are some of the worst players in the league and are overpaid. But Gillhorn might be able to do something for like 4 years. If we did a 4-year deal for Gillhorn, like at, I don't know, like 13.5. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad deal to be in, even if he is terrible. And if he's good, then we have him. I wonder if I could do a team option there. Increase it to 14. Okay, so we fought ourselves with Zachariah for a while, but I do think I want this guy, so I think we're going to just shuffle in the 15 million with a player option, which is about 3 million over in an extra year of what my original contract was. But what can I say? He drives a hard bargain. So I think we're going to stay away from Daniel Murphy. We definitely don't need another middle infielder. We do need a corner guy, and as much as I would like Bryce Harper, he remains uninterested, which is stupid because my organization's the best. But other than that, there's not much in terms of corner outfielders. We do have Justin Williams, who's coming up. Pollock is a bit too rich for our blood at this point after those signings. Daniel Murphy can actually play left field, but I don't really want him there. Ballantyne, this guy's terrible. So Michael Brantley, maybe wouldn't be the worst idea. Decent player. You would hope he can stay healthy. That would be the big caveat. But that is definitely not going to happen. He's not getting 7 years because I can bet a good amount of money he's not living out all 7 of those seasons. Evan Gattis, I gotta be honest. I think we can pass Evan Gattis. Brett Gardner, it's not a horrible pickup. No compensation, which at this point doesn't matter. It'd be a 3rd-round pick. But he'd be a 2-win player for us. A left-handed bat could be that leadoff guy, and if the outfield starts to come together, he can work as a backup outfielder, no problem. I'm not giving him 5 years. I'll do 3 years team option, and we'll bump it up to 4 mil. Okay, so Brett Gardner's interested in that deal. Probably will get that done. And then first base, like I said, I think I can figure out first base. I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. Usually you can figure out somebody who can play first base, and if they can't, they usually end up being able to because it's not a very hard position to learn. Jose Abreu stands out as an interesting target here. He's a pretty good player. I think I'm going to wait till winter meetings to do anything else. We're sitting pretty with about $9 million. And I don't really want to spend money on relievers, but if it comes down to the fact, if it comes down to it and we have an extra $19 million and there's these extra relievers available, then, that would be probably a pretty good move. I do like getting Gardner. Obviously, we like getting Machado and Clayton Kershaw. Those are 2 massive signings. Forgot we're getting Julian Fernandez back next season. That's ideal. Him and Cueto. I'm not expecting anything from Johnny Cueto this season. So we are going to continue on slowly. I want to say, wow, Felix P.A. getting a contract with the Cardinals. Didn't even know this guy was still around. He was playing in foreign leagues. Interesting. I am a devout Orioles fan, so I do remember the name Felix P.A. He had a Actually wasn't terrible with us. I think he was a decent fourth outfielder, um, but did not expect to see his name in this game anytime. Okay, and Clayton Kershaw has agreed to a contract to go to the rival of the Dodgers, the San Francisco Giants, and all of a sudden I think the Giants might be back on the map here. Not only does Kershaw provide us with phenomenal playing ability, he is a leader in the clubhouse, he has great loyalty, apparently didn't show it to the Dodgers, and a very good work ethic. Clayton Kershaw is a pretty big addition. The fan interest is obviously going to go up. And Philly gets Bryce Harper. So he also is staying in Division 2. Massive free agent staying in Division here. Kershaw is actually an interesting contract in real life. I feel like people are talking about Machado and Harper a lot this offseason, or this season, talking about the upcoming offseason. But Clayton Kershaw is also a free agent, and that dude is still the best starter in the league when he's healthy. Um, in my opinion, it's completely fair. It's completely fair to say Max Scherzer, but I'm still on the Clayton Kershaw bandwagon. And Manny Machado has also agreed to come to San Francisco, and this team is definitely coming together here. So we had two world-class players to the team. Madison Bumgarner will probably be the one on the opening day starter, just because that's usually what teams do. They will give the nod to the guy that's been there before, the guy that, gives them loyalty. If we can get something out of Johnny Cueto this year, our rotation could be very, very dangerous. I'm going to cut out here for a sec and just check up on some minor league stuff. Okay, and I'm back, and I was mostly checking on minor league stuff because I was debating if I want to keep up this Zachariah Gilhorn contract offer, and I think I am, but it's definitely something to consider. We got a lot of starting pitchers at this deadline who we're going to want to have room for, and if Cueto's in there, you know, that fills up 3 spots. Gilhorn would fill up a 4th, and then the 5th would be open, and obviously, just adding a pitcher isn't a bad idea, but it's if we could put the money elsewhere. But I think $15 million toward a 4.5 star player, even if he's not quite that, I think is still worth it. That guy could be a world class pitcher, and then we have our 5 spots. But also, what I realized while I cut out is I went to the trade block, which is very useful in this year's game. If you do not know, absolutely use this trade block. In previous games, it was just overpaid veterans. In this year's game, it is guys who are on bad teams, good players on bad teams that are trying to move on for them, like Paul Goldschmidt. And as many of you know, I have a hole at first base, a very big hole at first base, because I'm pretty sure Jerry Sands finished the season there. But I think we can figure out, if we can get him, we can figure out corner outfielders maybe. Also, Dylan Betances is there as well. I don't know if we would go for him, but I think we will worry about that in winter meetings when we can shop more guys and more people have money. So we'll get there. I usually do the Hall of Fame voting just because I think it adds a nice little touch to the game. I like to put in guys that I think should be in. So I guess you can get kind of my real life baseball opinion. Todd Helton's always borderline for me. Although he is an amazing first baseman and was great with his bat for a long time, he did a lot of it in Colorado, which has to be included. However, I think WAR wouldn't put him in quite yet, but I think we give it to him. And Edgar in his 10th year, always really liked Edgar Martinez and Mike Mussina. I usually don't put in this many people. Oh, Manny Ramirez. I also put in Manny Ramirez is definitely deserving of a Hall of Fame bid. That he was a dominant player for a really long time. Kurt Schilling definitely deserves to be in. And I think that's it. Wait, did I miss? No, I don't think I did. Okay. Might have missed someone, but regardless, as I continue to use my favorite word. Now, going back to our transactions, winter meetings are coming up, and we will start to evaluate trades at that point. Oh, I swear to God. Okay. Corey Kluber releases an album, a jazz album. Gotta be honest, didn't see that one coming from Mr. Klubot. Daniel Murphy going back to the Mets. It's pretty funny. Justin Bour also headed to the New York Mets. A lot of big names coming to the NL. However, it looks like our division has been pretty much clear. The Dodgers have gotten significantly worse as Yasmani Grandal also signs. We can look at the offseason summary by team. This is one of my favorite things to look at. I don't see other people looking at this very often, and it gives you a really good snapshot of how the team's offseason has gone. See, the Dodgers have lost 16.2 WAR. That is a lot of wins above replacement. A personal message. Oh, Brett Gardner wants more money. I'm willing to do that. Yep, it's cool. Ooh, trying to sneak in a little player option there. How about a team option? And I'll increase that to like 4.5. How about that? How's that look, Brett? How's that look, Brett? There you go. Don't tell me you want more money. They get Charlie Morton, the big-time replacement for Clayton Kershaw, Drew Pomeranz, J.D. Davis, and Xavier Cedeno. So, winter meetings have started. We have 10 shoppable players per day. I think Paul Goldschmidt is a guy we should target. I think we can really make this team dangerous if we can get Paul Goldschmidt. Nobody just outright is going to make the trade work. I'm definitely willing to part ways with some pretty big names to get him. I think Ethan Hankins would probably be off the table, but, maybe a Tristan McKenzie. So they're still going to need, wow, Stratton, huh? That's an interesting deal. I wonder what Stratton's value is. Stratton, jeez, I don't know when I missed this. Chris Stratton had a really good year last year. Maybe we don't want to move on from Chris Stratton. We could have a dangerous rotation this upcoming season. Okay, we're back. Don't get worried. We're not actually going to do this trade. I've been trying to make it work, but they are fixed in on getting Willy Adames, on getting both McKenzie and Alvarez, plus, a chunk of change. And I'm not willing to do it. I tried a bunch of things. They want Hankins or Chris Stratton. Chris Stratton is a guy I almost was willing to part with for him, but he had a really good year last year. He's cost controllable, if I could speak. And I don't know, I'm just not super sold on giving him up. He's a good player, is bottom line. Maybe so they would do this. Yeah, so they would do this, but again, we're getting rid of Chris Stratton, who was going to be an elite fifth pitcher for us, or even fourth if Cueto isn't what we expected. So we're going to go back to the trading block and maybe try and get some of these relievers because we are pretty thin at reliever. So I'll be back. Okay, we're back with a trade that we are going to pull. We're going to get rid of Ty Block, and makes sense for the Blue Jays, who apparently aren't super excited for this season. They get a young, controllable, I shouldn't say young, but a controllable starter who had a pretty good year last year. I think we're just going to have too many starters. And we get Dylan Betances, who can come in and be a really good pitcher. He definitely blows up at times and walks/hits everyone on the field. But, he can be a 2-win reliever. So we're going to pull this. They're also keeping 70% of his contract, which helps us out because our money only goes down by about $2 million, leaving us $17 million more to make another move. So I'm probably going to do this unless I can figure out a deal for Goldschmidt in the coming days, which I doubt. Okay, we're back with a trade that we are definitely going to pull. We are giving up a nobody. The Brewers seem to just want to get rid of Eric Thames, so we're including Brendan Brendan Arredondo. Took me long enough to say, but I don't know if Eric Thames is going to be good. He had a pretty bad year last year, but I think it's worth the risk. And we have not pulled this deal yet, but we are definitely going to. Yeah, so we are going to pull this Dylan Betances deal. I tried once again and could not figure out a deal to do with the stupid Arizona Diamondbacks. So we end up with Eric Thames and Dylan Betances. Thames might be able to actually fill in at first base. He is legitimately a first baseman, but I don't know if he's the long-term answer. Maybe at the deadline we can muster up something for Goldschmidt. I would think we can. We have the ability to. We need corner outfielders still really badly. We're definitely going to need to get some outfield help. Betances comes in likely as the either setup man or closer. One of the two. Doesn't really matter. Tyler Beede will not be there when we start this season. Julian Fernandez, I don't know if I want him to start the season in my bullpen. I don't know if I want him to start the season in my bullpen, but I definitely want him out there. So, alright, I'm going to keep looking around on the trade block. We're going to need bullpen pieces still, specifically lefties. Doolittle, I tried. I don't know why he's even on the trading block. He is definitely not on the actual trading block. Dan Jennings is not very good, but also, if I could just get him for nothing and they would retain his salary, really be super pumped about Garcia. How do you play? It's not great. It's not great. Alright. So we can get Dan Jennings for essentially nothing. That's something we want to do. I don't know. These are all like young guys. Just Meyer. I don't know. Dan Jennings might be absolutely terrible, but it's pretty much a no-risk deal. Pull that. Okay. So a lot of quick moves there. Winter meetings, hot stove in full effect. I shouldn't say in full effect. We acquired some middling players. Getting Goldschmidt would have been full effect. I also looked on the trade block, and there were not many corner outfield. Yeah, all there is Adam Duvall, who is making $5.2 million, and they're not stoked about me about holding on to a lot of that money. See, so who is this Ramos dude? He's in high A ball. I don't remember I don't know how we got him, but he's definitely going to be added to the prospect list. Moving on. Yeah, so we're not getting him. We're not getting Duvall. So we're going to move on from Duvall. Put our focus back into free agency. Gardner and Gillorn are both still interested. I could get Britton. That would be a power play. Still need a corner outfielder. Although I want to say we can figure that out. Adrian McCutcheon, asking for $12 million. He was not a bad player last year. $10 million now. I don't know about that. I think I'm going to wait on relievers because usually, even though I might not get the guy I want, that guy being ZB, Zach Britton, I can still get Andrew Miller or Familia. All these guys' demands go way down toward the very end of free agency, and you can usually find some really good pickups late. Blevins, Brock, etc. So we're gonna move late into free agency. Hopefully, we don't get into a bidding war for Gardner or Gillorn. Hopefully, Gardner doesn't realize how badly we need him, because we are absolutely stuck at corner outfielder right now. And Manny Machado, an undisclosed injury for 4 weeks. That's great. What happened here, Manny? Bit by a poisonous snake. Wonderful. I don't know why Manny Machado is hanging out in places with poisonous snakes, but that's not what we like to see from our $100 million man. So winter meetings are over. I think I did pretty good. Now the Rule 5 draft comes around. We do compete in the Rule 5 draft. We're usually making a good amount of pickups. So Sacramento and Richmond are 2 affiliates.